Iboru, Iboya, Ibochiche. How's everybody walk going today? Today, we're going to be diving in. Who is Ogun? And the first thing, like always, we're going to tackle the greeting, which is Oke, Ogun. Ogun, Kobu, Kobu, Awani Le. Now, let's dive into the prayer. Ogun, Awani Le. Agbe de Beyo, Ama Karna, Ke Awan Ache. Orisha Oke. Oko Mofori Bale Ogun. So today we're going to take a dive into the who Ogun is, what, when, where, and also the why, as to pertaining to Ogun and his attributes here on earth. So now we're about to dive into the who is Ogun. And the first Pataki we're going to get into, where it shows that Ogun is part owner of Yesa village, and how also Ogun played a major role in helping Baba Rumila overcome Iku. This is out of the Odu Obefun Lo, which is also known as Obefun. And this Pataki, this is where Ogun and Ochun gave Baba Rumila the colors, which is green represents Ogun and yellow represents Ochun. And this is where the Ide, or also known as the Ide Fa. So in this Pataki is where Iku would not recognize the powers of Baba Rumila. So because of this, Iku decided to go ahead and move forward in actions against Baba Rumila. And at that time, Echu had placed Iku into a sack. While Iku was inside the sack, Ogun went ahead and used his change and wrapped it around the sack to tie up Iku so Iku couldn't escape. Then after that, Chango tied it up with Ewe Yarako. From that, Iku couldn't get out and was pleading, begging for help. At that time then, Iku had to recognize the pact that she made with Baba Rumila, which states that Iku would not be allowed to take any children of Baba Rumila as long as they was wearing the Ide or the Ide Fa without first receiving the okay from Baba Rumila to do so. So that is part of the reason why as well the Ide Fa or the Ide is so important, because Iku cannot take you prematurely without first getting the okay from Baba Rumila. And if it wasn't for Ogun giving him those colors of the green, along with Ochun giving him the colors of yellow, the Ide Fa would not have such a strong effect. So now we're about to take a look into the Odu, Odigunda. And in this Odu, the Paleros here was causing an enormous amount of terror and conflict among these lands. And Baba Rumila and the people there were holding their own, but they still persist to give headaches and problems. And it was then that Ogun made a type of a powder. And from this powder that Ogun made with the ladies of the animals, he blew it. And when he blew it, it went into the eyes of the Paleros, and they were blind. And this is how Baba Rumila was able to defeat the Paleros and gain victory in the Odu Odi Gunda. And it's thanks to Ogun and his helping ways, a countless helping humanity. Because a lot of times we see that people like to look at Ogun as a brute force, which he is, but Ogun is always there to help the people. And it is when Ogun becomes upset and outraged is when people are unappreciative of the things that he does. Here, in this Pataki, we're going to dive into when Ogun is showing that he is an inventor. And this Pataki is out of the Odu Yosobara. Here in this Pataki Ochun, Iolode was having a difficult time with the enemies in her town. Men and women both were harassing Ochun. So Ochun, being that she knew brujeria, would do ebos. But even after doing these ebos, her problem would still persist. And it got to the point to where she needed to go see Baba Rumila. When she went to go see Baba Rumila, he told her that in this instant, the Odu that came down was Irosobara. And he told her, you need to go see Ogun. Ogun can help you with this situation. So, her being a good devotee and listening to Baba Rumila, went to go see Ogun. Ogun went ahead and told Ochun, how can I help you? And Ochun explained to him what was going on. Ogun then told Ochun, it sounds like I need to whip you up some type of weapon here. Something that allow you to protect yourself from multiple people at once. And this is when Ogun invented the gun. So here you see that the first gun was created for Ochun and the Odu Irosobara, given to her by Ogun. Remember, Ogun is always protecting and looking after Ochun. This next Pataki is out of the Odu Oyeku Trupon, where it shows that Ogun is also a protector for Baba Rumila here. Baba Rumila was on his way to a town of Yoro Oko, and on his travels, he met a pregnant woman on his journey. The lady then told Baba Rumila, sir, I'm pregnant, sick, and very hungry. Baba Rumila told her, well, if that's the case, follow me into this town where we can eat, get some nourishment, and you can rest. While they're on their way of traveling, a bird, Aga Mambala, heard the conversation of what they were going on. And this bird go ahead and travels to the town ahead. And when the bird gets there, he begins to tell the people lies of Baba Rumila and this individual lady, and also make up even more lies about them. Very, very disgusting lies, malice lies, to the point to where the king of their town told the people there, do not accept Baba Rumila, and anybody who accepts him will have to deal with me and the consequences. The lies that was told was so bad to where when Baba Rumila and the woman arrived in the town, the people threatened to kill Baba Rumila, and therefore him and the lady had to flee. While they were fleeing, in the course of trying to get to another town, they came across Ogun, because Ogun was on his way for war to another situation. Ogun, seeing Baba Rumila distressed, asked him what's going on. And that's when Rumila told him, well, we just left from this town of Yoro Oko, and the people there denied us access and tried to even kill us. Ogun, being Ogun, said that's not fair, that's not just. So he went to that town. And when he went to that town, he started decapitating and cutting people's heads off. So much commotion happened to where the king started catching notice of it. That's when Ogun even told the king, I'm going to continue to kill people here unless you allow Baba Rumila to enter back into this town and eat along with this lady. And on top of that, now you guys have to do it both. The king had no choice but to listen to Ogun commands. So here it shows how Ogun is a protector of Baba Rumila. So now we're going to take a look at the wind. And here we're going to speak about the Pataki here, where Ogun and Ochun saved humanity out of the Odu Obedendi. And here in this Pataki, Iku was going around eating humans here on earth. And as Iku and her servants were going around, they entered the town of Ayesa. And the town of Ayesa village had a very strange stint to it. And because of this stint, Iku and his servants believed that there was nobody there alive. So because of this nature, Iku and his servants bypassed the Ayesa village and continued to press forward to go enter the next town to where it could consume humans. As Iku and his servants left, civilization was actually inside of Yesai village. What spared the people that was inside of Yesai village was to the fact that Ogun and Ochun had recently did consultation with Baba Arumila. And the consultation, Obedendi came down. And Baba Arumila told them that they needed to take the intestines from the animals that they sacrificed and hang them around the outskirts of the town. Because of this, it produced a smell to where Iku thought that everybody that was inside of Yesai village was dead. And this is how Ochun and Ogun saved humanity. The next Pataki we're going to get into is out of the Odu Baba Gundame. And this is the Isalaye. The Isalaye is when Ogun descended from the skies and came down to earth. So now we're going to go over a few of the weirs for Ogun. And the weir for this instance is when Ogun did Ifa. So Ogun kape bona and received the Ifa in this Odu out of Baba Okaname. And this Pataki, Echuelebada, was a close ally of Baba Rumila. And Echuelebada constantly would beg Baba Rumila to do Ifa on him. Baba Arumila would insist not to do it because Echuelegua did not have the funds to do so. It was then at this time that Echuelebada, being so frustrated and upset, like how he gets, threw a temper tantrum. When he threw a temper tantrum, he threw himself to the ground. At this time, he actually hit his head and he began to bleed profusely everywhere, and it caused a scene. Because of this nature, Baba Rumila had to hurry up and do Ifa on Echuelebada to save his life. But because of this situation, Baba Rumila told Echuelegua, you owe me a whole lot of funds because I did Ifa on you without getting paid. So now Echuelebada had this debt that he needed to pay. Echuelegua going out, trying to figure out how he's going to come across these funds, he actually bumped into Ogun. And when he bumped into Ogun, Echuelegua told Ogun, hey, yeah, I know we normally greet each other, what's up? But no, I'm a Babalao now. You got to render me before the Bali. Ogun said, yeah, okay, whatever. Echuelegua goes, no, I'm serious, I'm a Babalao now. Ogun goes, okay, if that's the case, then tell me something. Echuelegua proceeds to tell Ogun, well, in this case, there's a situation that happened to you this morning. And Echuelegua told him about the situation. And Ogun said, well, you had kind of already previously knew that, so that's here nor there. Echuelegua had to one-up him and told him, oh yeah, well this morning you tried to touch your mother. And because of this situation, you guys got into a huge altercation. Ogun jaw dropped and said, all right, okay, you know a little something. Now I need to receive E5. So then because of this situation, Echuelegua turns around and tells Ogun, I can do E5 on you, but it's going to cost you. So Ogun asks how much. Echuelegua said, give me a second, I'm going to find out. So Echuelegua goes back to Baba Rumila. When he goes back to Baba Rumila, he tells him, hey, I have somebody here that's needing to receive Ifa. But I need to know the pricing first. So how much is it that you're charging me, Baba Rumila, for you doing Ifa on me? Baba Rumila looked at Echuelegua and said, I didn't stutter, a whole lot of money. Echuelegua said, okay. So he goes back to Ogun. When he goes back to Ogun to tell Ogun the price, Ogun already had the money stacked and ready. Because Ogun don't play no games. So then when Echuelegua told Ogun it's going to cost him a whole lot of money, Ogun sat there and looked at Echuelegua and said, what you still talking? count up. And because of this situation, by Ogun doing Ifa, he was also able to take care of his cost do Ifa and also Echu Lebadas. The next Pataki shows how we all need Ogun, and this is out of the Odu Osakana. In this situation here, Oya and a few of the Orishas were getting ready to prepare for a ceremonial. And in this ceremonial, there needed to be a yabale given, which is blood. So then, Oya and a few of the Orishas called up the trustee, Ogun, because Ogun does a fantastic job when it comes to giving them for the bale. So they call up Ogun. Ogun answers. The Orisha's like, hey, Ogun, we need you over here because you're supposed to be giving, the Eyabale to the Orisha and the rest of the saints. Ogun tells them, I'm a little tipsy right now. You're going to have to give me a minute. Oh, yeah, and the rest of the Orisha sitting there looking at each other, puzzled. We supposed to sit here and wait on Ogun? Nah. Let's call up Chango. So they call up Chango. Chango answers. Hey, little boy. Chango, we have a ceremony here, and we're supposed to be giving them for the Bali, but we have nobody to do it. So we need you. Chango says, very well. Charges him top dollar. And Chango begins to proceed on his way. As Chango arrives and gets there, he starts the ceremonies off and he continues to give the Eyabale. As he's throwing the obis to close out, it's not letting them close out. To the point to where the rest of the Orishas who were receiving Feyabale or Eyabale said that things were incomplete. So because of this, they had to pick up the phone again, call Ogun. And that's when Ogun told them, all right, I'm on my way. And then finally Ogun arrived, fed the rest of the Orishas and saints, and everything came out of Lafayette clean. They were happy. So this goes to show here how we have to understand that we're in Ogun town a lot of times. And we can't rush Ogun, because when Ogun pushes through, he does things correct. This next Pataki here speaks out of the Odu Ogun Lamasa, and it shows here the reason why Ogun is a team player. In this Pataki here, Ogun was out in the forest, in the wilderness, and when he would go to try and apprehend the animals, he would deliver a strong blow to the animals, but not enough to where he would be able to kill the animal. Because after he would deliver the blow, the animal would then take off and run. So he would have complications and problems on being able to feed himself. And also, that's how he also made his money, by selling animals, meats, and things of that nature. So he went to go get a Osode, a consultation. At the same time, Ochosi was having complications because Ochosi had an arrow, and his arrow was strong enough to deliver a blow, but it also wasn't strong enough to completely take out the animal. So because of this, he had complications and problems as well. So when Ogun went to go get Osode, he was getting it from Baba Rumila. And in the midst of his Osode, Ochosi had walked in. While Baba Rumila was explaining to him what was going on in the Odu, he was telling him that out of this Odu, Ogun Lamasa speaks about strength and unity and how he needed to team up in order to do something. Ogun's sitting there just thinking about it. So then, as he sits down and waits for Baba Rumila to finish the Osode for Ochosi so Ogun could do his Ebo afterwards, this same Odu, Ogun Lamasa, came down for Ochosi as well. So then as Rumila sits there and puts two and two together for Ogun and Ochosi, he then tells them that they need to work together. Ogun will go through clearing the way in the forest and deliver a blow to the animal, while Ochosi would stay around the corner to deliver the final blow with his arrow and take the animal down. This is how they were able to come together and work together to take care of each other. And also why Ochosi lives inside of the cauldron with Ogun, because they work side by side. You don't see one without the other. This next Pataki is out of the Odu Baba Ogundame, and it speaks to as why Ogun is always the first one to get the Eyabali and eat. A lot of times people think it's Elegua or whatever the case may be, but the first is Ogun, because Ogun is the violent force in nature that delivers the forceful blow to take the life and also renders the Eyabali, so that one is able to see the fruit of the Ebo.